on.
Hello, it's episode 3. We have a very special guest from a very prestigious health club. If you know, you know. Welcome to Helen.
Thank you.
And Sam is here. This is Sam's spatula. Hello, Sam.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Helen. Nice
Hi.
to see you.
Good to see you
Sam,
too.
what does it say on your board today?
I'm sexy and I know it.
She is. Thank you. You know yours is coming. So, first question to Helen. So today we're going to talk about how the industry has changed over the years and what has surprised Helen the most. We're going to talk about the hardest part of being a general manager, because that's what she was, the boss. And we're going to talk about what she is most proud of from her vast career. And then Sam and I will talk about what we would be motivated by and what we want from our leader. So, your first question, Helen.
I'll always be the boss.
She'll always be the boss. Okay. How do you see the industry change over the years, and what has surprised you the most?
I think the amount of competition now that has come along, and not just big companies, you've got a lot of independent gyms as well, and a lot of personal trainers who will also set up their own gyms, whether that be at home or whether that be in an outlet somewhere in a town. So I think the amount of competition that's out there is vast at the moment, and I think that the way that everybody is managing to still be successful within the industry is that people buy people.
Yes.
And I think it's very much, if you have the right personality and the right traits, people will follow you, whether you are in a big company and go off somewhere else, or whether or not you set up, or go and work for somebody else. So I think competition is an absolute massive one. But I also think, technology, I think you touched on it in your first episode. Technology is massive now, and not just necessarily in the group exercise world, but also in the gyms as well. The amount of technology, you've got your heart rate monitors on every piece of kit. You've got eGym and
Blaze.
You
imagine seeing Blaze 20 years ago with the MyZone and
and all of that. So that is absolutely massive, and I think that attracts the younger generation into more of the fitness element, and you've got all these virtual
instructors.
Virtual instructors, which
putting us out of a job.
Which fortunately in my time where I was general manager, we never went down that route. Don't get me wrong, there were discussions. And there were discussions, and some of the larger clubs that had very, much better group cycling facilities, let's say, did do virtual classes. But I was relieved that we never went down that route.
I think it's always an easy option for covering classes as well.
Yes.
We don't really need to bother to get covered because we can just put virtual on.
Yeah, and I, my personal view is that doesn't work, because I don't care what anybody says. Having somebody in front of you motivating you, because it's the motivation. Yes,
absolutely.
you have to make sure that technique, safety, and everything like that is there. But having somebody to walk into a class or into a gym session, a small session in the gym, and have somebody motivate you to do that when you're not feeling up to it. And again, you touched on that whole mindset piece. Is massive, and I think mindset and mental health has massively changed within the health and fitness world.
100%.
Absolutely. There are so many more people going to work out, whatever that workout is for them, and people say, I'm doing it for my mental health, because there's a better understanding about it. 20, 30 years ago, it was just pump iron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get
and
muscle.
mental health's not a thing. Let's
Yeah,
not talk about
yeah,
that.
you know,
Yeah.
and it was a taboo subject
They do, yeah.
if anybody mentioned it. Whereas, you know, I think the impact that instructors can have within the industry, and I think it's got more and more important, is massive. You know, you talk to them, you talk to the clients that you see in your class. They tell you their problems.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And
And we tell
God.
them ours.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a whole
Yeah.
members, you know who you are. Oh, you're going to be a little bit nicer to us when you've got your HRT.
Yeah.
I was like, hell no.
No, absolutely. It balances you out and you can go again. You know, so I think the whole wellness piece within the industry is far more prevalent. And I think along with family time, you know,
Yeah.
and again, depending on where you work out, you know, I'm talking from the experience that I have, even though we weren't necessarily huge child, we didn't have the great children facilities.
Well, we had Narborough for that.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
That one,
you know,
by the way.
you
was
have
thinking that's
you
fine.
have the option of where families can now go into a health club. They can go off and do their thing. Kids can go off and do their thing. They can meet back again in the, you know, club rooms to have food, and if they need to go out and do other bits and pieces,
and
they
everyone's
can.
done their
So
thing
it's almost
in the
like
morning.
together,
Yeah.
together
It's
apart.
very much
Yeah.
a lifestyle, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that is, you know, I think the lifestyle change within the industry and the impact it has on mental health are the biggest changes, aside from technology,
Yeah.
which we know will constantly evolve and improve and wow us with something next.
I mean, I get confused. Am I to be wearing earpods or the big?
For
I mean,
teaching or
no,
for your own
for in the
workout?
gym. You know, I feel like I'm not really looking the part with all the technology stuff. Is it AirPods? Is it you know the bins? I don't know what it is.
Sometimes none, I think.
Or put them in so nobody talks to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes I think, and also if you want to just leave your phone in your locker and just have that time out on your own, because that used to be no phones on the gym floor, but now they're used for music and all that.
Yeah. Oh, trying to
I know why you're
police.
laughing
Yeah.
about lockers and phones.
Yeah. Trying to police, you know, the whole gym floor etiquette.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. You could probably do an episode on gym etiquette, studio etiquette,
100%.
pool etiquette, minefield.
There's a lot of selfies as well, isn't there? In the
Yes.
in the
In the changing rooms.
everywhere, everywhere.
But I think definitely touching upon the people invest in people. That was a conversation that we had in COVID, when obviously we were thrown under the COVID bus, and then a certain influencer
Yes.
came aboard and said, "Come to my PE class for free,"
and trampled on us all.
you know.
Yeah, I know.
And then you and I were like, why are they investing in you and I when he's doing it for free? And it goes back to, and loads of people, I said this to you, you said it to me, they're doing it because they're investing in us. They know us, they trust us, and it's a familiar face for them.
Yeah.
So definitely. So going on to the next question, what was the hardest part of being a general manager?
People.
Them lot.
I'm out there.
People in general. Do you know what? People can be the best part of the job, and they can be the worst
And
part
that's
of the
the
job.
same person quite often.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In the time that I was, you know, at DL, you know, I probably only had half a dozen people that would push my buttons.
In terms of staff or members or
Both.
Yeah.
Both probably. But like I said, you know, for me, people make a health club.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, with regards to when I say the team, I mean the team as a whole. I don't mean employed team. You know my view on all of that.
Extended.
You know, it takes everybody to do their part and do it well to make everything be as successful as it can. And things happen, you know, but also you only need one bad egg that completely derail absolutely everything. So sort of like when I say people, that's sort of like the team part, but then the members, because, you know, some of the members that I've met over the years, are amazing, and to hear some of their stories
Yeah.
is absolutely wonderful, you know, and that was the best part of the job, hearing that, but also seeing teams and instructors succeed and be successful and getting great feedback. That to me was the best part of the job, being able to, you know, help and develop people, but also help the members as well that come in. You know, that first person that, you know, you think of, I always think of January, you know, and existing long-term members go, oh my God, I hate January. And to a degree, I didn't hate it. It was a frustration because you were trying to balance the whole team and making sure that you got the staffing right because you just didn't know to begin with. But then managing existing member expectation and then new members coming in. Because, you know, you'd get that first person who's walked into a group exercise class and they're faced with everybody that's been coming for years and they've taken their spots.
Their spots.
You know, but no, people for me was the most important part, most enjoyable as well. 95% of the time, people.
And they're the people that you spend more time with than your own family.
Absolutely.
You don't spend 8 hours a day, or obviously you do more than 8 hours a day on a shift, but with your family.
Absolutely.
You do with your gym family. Sorry about that. That's the front door and I'm not going to answer it. What can it be, Sam? Delivery?
You want me to go and have a look?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about the door. So that was the hardest part about being. It's real.
It's real. It's live.
Yeah, it's real and it's live. My sister's supposed to be coming round, but I said to her, don't come round because I'm interviewing.
That's your sister.
Guys, Sam, go and answer the door, and if my sister tells her to go away. Sorry about this, everyone. So, what are you most proud of? Is that going back to staff or?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's definitely team, and you know, seeing some of my team go on and be successful in other clubs and getting promotions. But I'm also proud of members as well. Some of the members' stories that you hear, you know.
HRT.
Oh, that's too big to be my HRT, Sam.
Sure.
I wonder what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Open it. Bring it over.
Oh,
sorry,
right.
Helen.
No, that's fine.
I feel like Mrs. Overall.
This.
There we go.
Thank you, Sam. Hold my microphone.
Baking Queen.
You're gonna love this.
Am I?
Yeah.
What?
Whoa. Tan. Ultra dark.
Oh, ultra dark express technologies. There are other companies available.
Yeah. Double. You know, you won't be recognising me on Monday. I've been to the Caribbean. Pop that up there for
advertising.
Reasons.
Free advertising.
Yes.
We both wear it. We both like it.
Yeah, we're not fake, we're real. So that was the doorbell. Sorry. Helen's most proud moment.
Yeah, I think again, looking at some of my team's progress and being able to see how people, you know, can, you know, turn their careers around and get promotions and everything like that. And I think probably the proudest was when we had an incident in the club. I'd literally just got home. It was about 6:30 on a Thursday evening. And I had no sooner just put my bag down when I got a phone call from the duty manager to say that there'd been an incident in the club where we'd had to activate the defib.
Yeah.
So I literally turned around, went straight back in.
That's your worst nightmare as well as a GM, isn't it?
This one was a successful outcome. This one was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this was one of the members that was having a personal training session with one of the personal trainers, and we had to, like I say, the duty manager had to activate the defibrillator, and actually did revive
Wow.
the member
Wow.
there and then.
Brilliant.
And, you know, you get reports from the defibrillator, and literally from the moment it was opened to the shock being given, I think if I remember rightly, it was something like, it was either 15 or 18 seconds.
Brilliant.
Which
Amazing.
demonstrates the training that the guys do every month
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And that was one of the proudest moments to say that, you know, all of the training that we do, even though we all go, oh, have we got to do it, save that member's life.
And the fake Mr. Stickers as well, because somebody's accidentally thought they'd switched off the hand dryer.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Cheryl. You know, you know, you've been there all the years that, you know, and still there, and now I'm not. The number of, you know, false emergency calls that go off, you know, you still have to respond to them as if it was going to be a real situation. So yeah, and the way that individual dealt with that situation, because they were the same individual that dealt with the one that wasn't as successful.
Wow.
I was super proud of.
Yeah.
Super proud. So yeah, team again, the team, you know, team and people.
So it's always people.
Yeah, and members as well. You know, I don't know if there's still a member there, but I remember, you know, when he came to talk to me, and he'd retired. He had a hip operation because he needed to, and he wanted to spend more time with his wife. And I think it was 6 months, and his wife passed.
Oh no.
And he was like, this place has kept me going. And that's powerful.
Definitely.
You know, and I know these sound really morbid, but they're not, because these are things that sit with you, and you don't always know until somebody tells you. You don't know the impact you have on people. And there was one other where a member had passed, and myself and 2 personal trainers went to their funeral. And in the eulogy, his personal trainer was mentioned along with David Lloyd, of how much of an impact we had on his well-being and his life.
Wow.
And again, you go, wow.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, the personal trainer who was mentioned literally just went white. I thought they were going to pass out, because it was so moving to think that, you know, most people go, it's just a gym.
It's not.
Wherever it is.
It's a lifestyle.
It is, but it's also the friendships that you build, the bonds you build, the connections that you build. And like I said, sometimes you don't know what an impact you have on somebody until sometimes it's too late.
Yeah.
And that's so sad, isn't it?
Yeah, really sad. But, you know, people.
Yeah.
People, like I said, people by people.
Yeah, they do. I know when I've had like some of my darkest moments and I've thought, I can't go in today, I've thought about the people that are waiting for me and I've gone in.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, they're there for me, so I'm going to have to do it. And I'm like, we've said this now for the 3rd time, never felt bad for doing a workout.
No, absolutely.
And I think we're really lucky that is our job. You know, on the flip side of having to do it through exhaustion and all of that.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, sometimes and it's one of those that I can reflect back on now that I stepped out, you know, now that I'm no longer in the industry. And, you know, sort of like, people don't tell people how they make them feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite sad.
Yeah.
You know, randomly, I got more people telling me what a good job I'd done after I'd left.
Than during.
Crazy,
How do you take compliments?
I struggle.
I
struggle. I mean, you know, Cheryl sent me a message and I was like, you know, I can't do it without a team. And you sent me a message back and it's like, but it, you know, to me, you know, everybody is a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do struggle with, I always have done. So to me, I just go, it's my job.
Yeah,
but it's not.
No, it's not.
I believe your job is methodical, you know, putting the ticks in the boxes and making sure all the stuff's done behind the scenes. But I think a leader is everything. And I would always want a leader with standards that are higher than mine or as high as mine. Because if you've got a leader with low standards, then your own standards drop.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for me, I want somebody above me that I want to please, because that will promote me in life.
Yeah, yeah. It makes everybody better, doesn't it?
And I want to respect that person as well.
Yeah.
Learn from
They've
them.
kind of
respect
earned the
them.
stripes.
Yeah,
And
and it's a two-way thing as well, because everybody, you know, within a team has different strengths.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about learning from everybody. You know, nobody knows everything.
No.
You know, and I know that, you know, when I recruited Gillian.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gillian.
Yeah, honestly, her customer service was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, everybody loved her.
Yeah.
And I learned stuff from her, as did the rest of the team. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Everybody, you know, nobody knows everything. And if you go along in life thinking you know everything, you're never gonna improve or learn different things. You know, and everybody can take something from somebody.
100%,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you sit within the chain of authority. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I quite like the fact that within the business that I was in, you didn't have your title on your badge. It didn't matter who you were. And I love that, because so what? You would see me cleaning the locker rooms.
Yeah.
You would see me cleaning. You would see. I'd be in your classes putting all the weights away after COVID and cleaning everything. You know what I mean? All of that.
Yeah.
You know, to me, you know, your presence should be enough.
Yeah, that's what we said the other day. That I still live by the rule of, I like to be well presented when I teach.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, let's just say I'm in the room, I don't have my head mic on, I want people to know that I am the instructor, from my presence in the room.
Yeah. You know, so I think everybody needs to, you know, just listen. You know, you've got one mouth and two ears, and I think a lot of people listen to reply as opposed to listen to understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's a massive part of the role as well. And your role as well. You know, you have to listen. Like when you're asking people, have you got any injuries? If you're not listening to them, it's just going to go straight over the head.
Yeah. It's good. But I think a leader is everything. And I think since COVID, I mean, I think you'll agree with me that Group X has changed a lot, and I think it's probably gone. That a lot of instructors finished teaching during COVID, and now there's not as many instructors around. So I know there's a couple of clubs recruiting, nobody's coming forth.
Interesting.
And I think part of that is the pay system as well, that used to be good.
Yep.
Our pay on the whole has gone up by £2 a class since 1998. Which in 1998, it was well paid, and there were instructors everywhere banging out 10 back-to-back classes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Our overheads have gone up, our insurance.
Yeah, everything's gone up.
You know, if you're using certain music, you need certain licenses.
Absolutely.
So all the overheads go up, but not the rate of pay.
Yeah.
Wonder
that's not any particular club.
No, it's industry.
Industry
wide. I think that, you know, you're absolutely right. You know, and trust me, you know, numerous conversations in meetings over Group X pay and everything like that did happen, but it was almost that this is what the industry is. Doesn't make it right, and it's like, so I understand what you're saying, because trust me, I did.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I've had a conversation with my team leader there and our old boss. Can't remember his name now, great guy. But I spoke to him and I said that, you know, without group exercise, 40% of your members would leave.
Agreed. And that was that was always my battle with it as well. Again, you know, operating a smaller club, you know, the overheads were actually greater for the revenue that used to come in. And that was always the battle of trying to manage it and balance it to be fair with what other clubs locally and within the same company were paying. And I had to battle that massively all the time. You know, and obviously, you know, Group X coordinators that I had would also be, you know, beating the drum to try and do it. But, you know, unfortunately, it was like, that's what the industry pays.
Yeah.
And I personally don't agree with it because,
Mm.
again, you're absolutely right. Group exercise is massive, absolutely massive, especially for the smaller clubs that don't maybe have the rackets
Yeah.
or even pools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
It's
becomes a bigger
massive.
facility.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that brings people in is group exercise. And, you know, and that also generates your secondary spend if you've got like club rooms.
Yeah.
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 You know, you used to know where your peaks and troughs. I used to know where the peaks and troughs were when I was in club. You know, because you'd look at what your timetable was, and, you know, you'd plan it out as best as you can doing the global programming, and you would know that at that time that class is finished. There's going to be at least 28 people in there plus instructor. If they all come down and sit and have a coffee, cha-ching. Being honest, you know, and you know, exactly,
Yeah.
and, you know, and I know that, you know, just as we came back from COVID, you know, sort of like the food and beverage part of the business took a nosedive because we were still sort of like in the, you can only have 4 people sat in the row, you know, and, you know, and
they need to be 50 meters apart.
yeah, you know, so that whole atmosphere and that meeting up afterwards dwindled off.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people were scared or whatever, or you couldn't do it because you were like, I can't sit there and touch somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but group exercise for me was absolutely massive, which is why, you know, I tried to grow the program the best we could with the facilities that we had, and I actually think we did a fairly decent job in the end.
Yeah. Oh,
do you know what I mean? Type thing, because that's what brought people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many people, I don't like to say Les Mills, but so many people when they do tours, are they saying, do you do Les Mills classes? Because they know what they're getting.
You know, yeah. Well, again, you'll remember, you know, you know, DL didn't used to do Les Mills, if you remember.
Yeah.
We used to
Then
do
we had our own programs.
peak physique.
That's it.
Peak physique.
I
P2.
did my training in
Yeah.
that.
And I remember when we used to have so many members come in and go, are you getting Les Mills? Are you getting? It's like, no. And then the business changed their mind. And then we get Les Mills. And then we get people going, oh, it's boring. It's repetitive. And it's like,
You wanted
Yeah.
it.
You
It's
wanted
only repetitive as well if you've got an instructor that's not. Well, I guess at the time there was new instructors.
exactly, yeah. That it was literally, it was like, this is how you teach it.
Yeah, it's very robotic.
Yeah, you know.
I
so,
struggle with that sometimes because I don't want to be a robot.
Yeah.
You know, we're creative people and it's...
But yeah, absolutely. And like I said, yeah, Les Mills who do this one, and then, you know, obviously, as the industry changes, different things come in.
I remember when I was studio manager at another club and the license was £75 a month.
Yeah.
I bet it's not that now.
Oh, no, I couldn't tell. Do you know what? I genuinely can't remember how much it is, but it's because it's got to be, I think, if I remember rightly, it was something like, because you pay per product that you had as well. So
each
license,
Yeah.
you know, so, and so I understood, because obviously I think the company dropped a few of them just as I started to finish.
Yeah.
Fortunately, so I didn't have to go through that. But like I said, and, you know, a lot of, and this is what amazes me, you know, lots of companies have feedback and, you know, how you can feedback and everything like that. And a lot is around group exercise, you know, positive and negative, but not necessarily negative as in quality of class, but negative because they want more classes in.
Yeah.
You know, and I still struggle sometimes when this is seen further up the chain, that then nothing else happens.
Yeah.
You know, little bit of politics.
Yeah, which is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, but yes. So from a leader, I think now moving forward from COVID, I feel like there's less of a family in a club, and that group exercise instructors have kind of been left by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah.
So like new GMs come in and they don't really make an effort to introduce themselves to the group exercise instructors, and I find that a bit sad. Really.
Yeah, because like I said, I would always see everybody as a team without crossing the lines of sort of like employment law. you know, as self-employed and everything like that. But I would always treat everybody the same, because that's the way that you generate a great atmosphere and great feedback within the club. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're employed or self-employed. In my view, you all deliver that standard.
And it's like you've got 30 people in a room, and we have such a good atmosphere in our classes. 30 people leave, and sometimes it feels like you've had no praise for that. You know, I've made 30 of your members really happy today.
Exactly. And you know, 30 members, and you might have 20, 30 classes a day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a huge,
massive
section of the sector of the membership.
There's not a lot of GMs out there, I think, that are very supportive of their freelance instructors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just not.
We don't, sometimes in some cases, we don't even know who they are.
And yet, you know, we're probably the person that a lot of the members see more than any other member of staff.
Without a shadow of a doubt. If somebody's coming to your classes 3 or 4 times a week, that's massive. That's massive. And you know, I think people should tap, you know, managers, sports managers, whatever your structure is, they should tap into that and understand that and encourage that.
They used to. It used to be a thing. It's only recently, and in my opinion, since COVID, that just seems to have been a bit of an us and them.
Obviously I left just after COVID, so I'm sort of like, you know, I don't see that. So
it's happening, and I'm talking on behalf of other instructors.
Absolutely,
not just me.
I think at this point I need to say that.
Would you like to hold the baking stick?
The baking stick. At this point, I would like to say that certain city councils treated their freelance instructors absolutely appallingly. And I rang up Phil and Holly on this morning.
Did you?
I didn't get on the phone to speak live, but they read my question out about COVID, because a certain city council refused certain freelance instructors of furlough.
I remember this.
And the answer to it on TV by Phil and Holly, and the person who was doing the chat with them said that any council is part of the government and they cannot refuse anyone furlough. And that was just a tiny smidgen of how freelance instructors got treated by
the government.
And furlough was not always given. And some of us ended up on universal credit.
I said this to one of my boot campers the other day, actually, because she was saying about the instructors at _Leys, actually, and I said they lost a lot during COVID.
There must have
lots
been.
Didn't go back. And did they reduce your wages as well afterwards?
Really?
£10.
Yeah.
We got an email 5 to 5 on Friday evening. We used to get little emails, and we'd think, oh, here we go. You know, you're at home, it's COVID, and there's a lot of stress going on. It wasn't great for everybody, COVID, being at home wasn't. And we got one to say that they were bringing us in line, the freelance instructors, 0 contracted. So we did have certain rights. But they said we need to bring your pay in line with the rest of the workers for City Council. That reduced our payment by £10
wow
a class.
Wow.
Then, strap yourselves in tightly. Then they said, however, you can earn your class monies because we're not furloughing anyone anymore, if you wear your PP equipment and take a trolley and go knocking on the houses in the hotspots of the city and hand out the test kits and collect the test kits in, and we'll give you language sheets that you can hold up at windows to show people. And I said, no, I can't do it. I'm a carer for my father.
And your mum then?
No, my mum had gone by then,
Sorry.
And I said, you know, my father's shielding, and I got told, it's not you shielding, no, is it? And I said, no, it's not me shielding, but I'm not prepared to do that. And that's when I was told to look at benefits. So that's why I ended up on, universal credit. So, it's It's bad. It's bad.
So
Yeah.
there was free PE though on telly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's and we got overlooked a lot. So a lot of instructors that did work in city councils left because of the appalling way we were treated.
And do you think, Cheryl, going to your question on, you know, clubs looking for new instructors, do you think that people don't want to do the work? Because as you've alluded to in your previous episodes, it's not just about turning up at 10 o'clock to do a 45-minute class.
Do you know what? I don't think new people would know the work that's involved, because back in the day when it was really good pay, even then, when I first did it, I was like, damn, I've got to learn all this choreography. And it takes hours and hours.
No, absolutely.
And if you're watching, you know who you are yesterday, who said, that's SHIT. And I said to her, my soul has just died because I've spent all week learning that. I'm now on 10 pence an hour. But no, I meant it's like shit hot, really good. And I was like, very well recovered.
Yeah.
But I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know whether new instructors just think, oh, I'll get paid to go and work out.
Yeah. That's what I just
I'll get
a
free membership.
Yeah.
But I mean, some do. I call them conveyor belt instructors. You know, they just come in and press play on a playlist. Whereas I will put a good playlist together and make sure that the most vibey track is towards the end.
Oh, listen,
losing their mind. And
you could tell that you could tell the good instructors and the ones that weren't necessarily as good. Fortunately, I was blessed, and I genuinely mean that. I was blessed with the instructors throughout the whole of the time that I was with DL, because again, you know, like your good self, you're still there, and that speaks volumes.
And there's still amazing instructors there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And you know, you could tell just because you could put a class on at 5 o'clock on a Friday night or a random dodgy time, and it'd still be full if you put the right instructor in there. You know, and that's exactly.
Everybody that's in the club is in the studio.
I've got a question for you ladies as well. Is that all right? So
we've not discussed this previously.
No, you haven't. So, well, you mentioned it briefly. I think it was on your episode 2? Can't remember. So when you do cover classes for people, have you ever had somebody walk out?
Oh, yeah.
And what's I have a view on it, and I'll tell you mine after. How did it make you feel?
Mine was at David Lloyd Narborough, and it was covering a certain guy, and it was Pilates. And I walked in. I was like, "Morning," and then they gathered their stuff and went. And then a couple of others did. And I was like, I looked around and I was like, great, nice quiet class. So you've got me all to yourselves. I think it was like me and 4 people left. And then at the end, they all came forth. I was like, that was amazing. Do you do any other classes here? Blah, blah, blah. But my first class I ever taught at David Lloyd's, a certain member was in. And she did it. Looked me up and down. She was like, where's Tony? I was like, not here, unfortunately. So you've got me. And I even then, I said, it's my first class. I'm a bit nervous. But I bossed it, and then she became my friend for life. Thankfully. Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going back many years now, and it was a smaller ladies only gym that I worked at, and we used to get really, really busy classes. And Lisa Walker, Lisa's Fitness Factory, she was amazing. Shout out for Lisa's. Yeah, Lisa's.
She might be a guest.
She might be a guest. And I had to cover one of Lisa's classes, and she was like in Leicester City. She was the guru. It was her place. It was, you know, top notch. And I thought, oh God, I had to cover one of her classes, and I'd only been teaching probably about 3 months. I walked in, half the class walked out, and I was so.
It's horrible.
Defeated, so defeated. And I got through the class. I felt like crying. And then after the class, a couple of the other instructors were like, "Oh, come on, you were great. You were great." And I went home. I think I cried all the way home and didn't sleep that night. And that was it. The next morning, I'm never teaching again. I'm never doing it. And then the next time it happened, I said, "No, I don't want to. I'm not going to cover. I don't want to cover Lisa's class ever again." And I did. and a lot of them stayed for it and gave me the benefit of the doubt. And
Here you are.
some of them still do classes with me now.
Fantastic. Do you know, I used to, there was one member, and I can't, do you know, I genuinely can't remember who the instructor was, and I genuinely can't. But I remember this one member storming out of the studio because, and again, I don't know whose class the instructor was covering. It might be one of yours, Cheryl. I genuinely can't remember. But there was a new instructor in there, and this member walked out and stomped downstairs to see me, and with a few choice words because regular instructor wasn't there. And so I let them vent, as you do. Again, listen to understand, not to reply. And they weren't particularly listening to my reply. So my reply to them was, when you've done your group exercise to music qualification, come back and see me, and I'll put you in front of a class of members.
Oh yeah,
because I think I understand members' frustration. Trust me, I understand it when somebody's ill or they're entitled to be on holiday, because
we're not, though, are
God
we?
forbid,
We're not allowed,
should you be on holiday,
or
and you then get people going, well, I'd rather you cancel the class. Really?
But that's just you. That's one person.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, and I just wish sometimes, again, it goes back to that people being kind and understanding. Is, you know, you guys come into a class where you can teach the class, but you may not have seen these members because it's a different type of class that you can still teach, and then people are rude.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely no need for that. Yeah. And that used to be one of my biggest bugbears. Or you would hear members go, "Oh God, it's that person," and I would always challenge you, go, "Would you like us to cancel the class?" And they'd soon go, "Oh no," because people are quick to also criticise if we then cannot get an instructor to cover a class.
And that was rare back in the day.
Yeah, but sometimes because of your reaction to the previous week, they don't want to do it.
I know an instructor that didn't teach for a whole year because she was heckled in one of her classes by a member. And
shocking.
It just completely crushed her confidence.
And you're right, it is a fight. It's bullying. It's almost bullying in the workplace.
And it is so hard to go in and cover a class for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? If you know that person's got a really good following, you know that person's really popular, and you have to go in and cover it. And it is hard. Yeah. And there is a lot of instructors out there that won't cover other instructors' classes because of that.
And I think now, sorry, Helen.
No.
Now what happens, all that activity goes on behind the scenes on the app.
Right, okay.
So you cancel. Everyone that's booked in gets a notification. Then, like, sometimes, like for me, in the rare event that I've not been there, what's up? What are you doing? You're lying in bed, dying, fighting for your life. And like, why aren't you coming to the gym? And then the ring goes down, or the ring goes back up.
How dare you? How dare you not come in?
All of that stuff happens on the app. Like suddenly someone's rang.
You see, technology.
Back to what's changed the most. And that ring goes to 20 available space. Cheryl's covering Gemma's spin. Sorry, Gemma, I don't cover your class. So finishing off, so all three of us can answer this. One of your most ridiculous complaints.
You go for. I need to. I've got loads. I'm just trying to think.
One that stood in my mind was when I was duty manager at one of the clubs, was that the water was too thick in the pool. Have you?
I mean, that's crazy.
I was like, I'm really sorry to hear that, Mr. Baines. How do you suggest I thin it out? Add more water, add some oil. I was like, I'll do my best. I'll see you tomorrow. And I wrote it in the handover, but water too thick in the pool. Sam, anything in the whilst Helen thinks of two?
Well, not just on a similar line. You've got all the lights on. Someone complains it's too dark in here, but all the lights are on, and there's nothing else I can do. But it's too dark. So you just think, well, what can I do? Another one is they position themselves near the aircon
And say it's cold.
and say it's too cold, and you say, well, you can move. No, this is my place. You just think, just stop it.
Yeah, I think two that spring to mind is one similar to I mentioned before. Somebody came to complain to me that a new member had taken their space at the front in one of the group exercise classes. And then I had one where somebody complained that somebody was using their locker.
What, that they hadn't paid for?
Yeah, that they had
not an annual locker.
Public locker.
Yeah, a generic locker that wasn't a paid for one.
Oh, imagine that just being your only problem in a day.
Yeah. So, the water one like you had as well, and the it's warm at one end and the other end. Well, yeah, just because of where the inlets are.
Yeah, this was thickness.
Yeah, I had a request. So, could we turn the pool temperature up for when the aqua aerobics class is on? And it's like,
don't they turn it up themselves?
And it's like, no.
Move more then. Just move more.
Yeah. You don't. No, we can't just turn it up for you because the amount again overheads.
Go home and have a bath.
Yeah, overheads.
Get in the jacuzzi.
And the time then for all those swimmers that want to not be sweating in the swimming pool.
Wow.
But yeah, just random.
It's crazy. Right, so that brings episode 3 to an end. Goodbye. Love you all. Come back with your feedback. If you want any of the guests, let us know who they are. And we'll see you all in a week or so. Bye.